I used to spend a few weeks every summer with my grandmother. My grandmother used to live in the older part of town. It was not uncommon to hear reports of ghosts or spirits from the other residents in the neighborhood, although no one in my family had ever had a supernatural experience there. That changed after that summer. A few homes away from her lived a family with 2 small children, a boy and a girl, around the ages of 8 or 9. One night, the daughter began to complain of a headache. Her parents gave her some headache medication that they had purchased from the store previously, and then had her lie down in her bed. When the parents woke to check on their daughter in the morning, she had died. The doctor later reported that the daughter had died from an aneurysm in her brain. After her funeral, the family decided to go away for a few weeks to try to deal with the tragic death of their daughter. The parents knew my grandmother, and asked if she would be able to look after their cat while they were gone. My grandmother was happy to help them out and began checking on the cat once a day. Sometimes I would walk the 3 doors down with her, so that I could play with their cat for a little bit. After entering the house, I headed to the basement to look for their cat. She liked to hide in the basement, and my grandmother was not very good at climbing stairs. While I went to search for the cat, my grandmother sat down at the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it gently when she felt something brush her ankles. She thought the cat must have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing, and then she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her legs tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called to me and asked me if I had found the cat. I responded that yes, I had found the cat, and was playing with it in the basement. My grandmother was obviously frightened and she told me to hurry up as we were going to leave. As my grandmother shut the door to lock it from the outside, we both heard the giggling of a little girl. We hurried home and told my grandfather what had happened. I was not allowed to go back into the house after then. My grandmother continued to care for the cat every day until the family returned, but my grandfather always went with her. When the family returned, my grandparents told the parents what had happened, and they both turned white. The father told him that his daughter who had just died used to play a game with him as he played the piano. When the father played the piano, she'd crawl underneath, grab his ankles, and push his feet up and down on the pedals. My grandmother never entered the house again, but she swore that any time that she walked past the house, that she could hear the giggling of the little girl.